We have another significant day of news on the NHL waiver wire. The 3 players from yesterday, we did have 1 player claimed, and we have 2 more players on waivers today. We'll get into all the details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some pretty significant news from the NHL waiver wire. Another busy day of waivers activity. Of course, yesterday we talked about the fact that 3 players were on NHL waivers, and we'd find out this afternoon if they were claimed, or they could be reassigned, or what would be going on with those players. Plus, we found out there's 2 more players new on waivers today. So the Blackhawks had veteran centerman and winger Anthony Athanasiou. He is in fact cleared. We talked about that yesterday. He's making $4.25 million. You know, that was a contract that most teams weren't going to take, even if they liked the player's skill set, thought they might want to give him a chance. That the contract's going to be problematic. And, well, you know, obviously that was proven to be exactly the case. Matt Benning of the Toronto Maple Leafs, who was picked up from the Sharks in the Timothy Logan trade, also cleared waivers today. He's been reassigned to the American Hockey League's Toronto Marlies. Of course, with Benning, I think it's the fact that he had an extra year in his contract. Clearly, it's not a case, I don't think, of teams not liking the player, not liking the salary. He's only making $1.25 million. I think it's just the extra year that kind of deterred teams from picking him up. Now that he's cleared waivers through the Leafs organization, I would not be shocked if he is maybe traded. I've talked before how sometimes clearing waivers can increase the likelihood of a trade, because since he's already cleared, if another team is trades for him, they can send him right to their minor league affiliate and have him as a later call-up option. Until he plays 10 NHL games, he won't need to go through waivers again to go up or down. So obviously, you know, kind of creates a little bit more flexibility. So we'll see what happens with Matt Benning. For right now, the Leafs are going to have to send him to the Marlies, but they'll continue trying to find a new home for him to be able to continue on his NHL career. And goaltender Kahkonnen has been claimed. He's reclaimed, actually, by the Winnipeg Jets. Of course, he started the year as a free agent signing with the Jets, ended up on waivers, and got picked up by the Avalanche. Now that their situation is better and their goaltending is healthy in a better spot, he's back on waivers, and they've taken him back. So because no other teams put in a claim, they're able to send Kahkonnen directly to their minor league affiliate where they had his rights before. So obviously the Jets will add to the goaltending depth. He can go to the Manitoba Moose in the American Hockey League. So once again, Kahkonnen is a member of the Winnipeg Jets. Now, new on waivers today, we have the Anaheim Ducks placing goaltender James Reimer, and the Carolina Hurricanes placing defenseman Reimer Stillman. Now, in the case of Reimer Stillman, he has not played yet this year. He was on season opening injured reserve, so he was hurt to start the year. He would have gone through waivers sooner to be put down to the Hurricanes AHL affiliate. Obviously, at this point, you know, they need to get him some games. He's close to returning, so they need to go through this process to be able to do that. Obviously, they'd want to see him play a bit in the American League before he'd get a shot at the NHL roster. So given the fact that he's been injured and hasn't played, probably not getting picked up. James Reimer, on the other hand, veteran goaltender, got picked up by the Anaheim Ducks. Of course, wasn't signed by the Ducks in the offseason. He started the year in Detroit, but of course with the logjam of goaltenders there, obviously Reimer got picked up on waivers early on, and the Ducks had a situation where they had John Gibson out for an extended time. Well, Gibson's back now, played last night, and Reimer is on waivers to make room on the roster. Obviously, there's no point in them carrying 3 goaltenders. I believe last night they gave Dostal the night off, if I'm not mistaken, but you know, Dostal's clearly established himself as the starter there. Gibson will be the backup, you know, slash 1B option, whatever you want to call him, in the short term. Hopefully he plays well enough to maybe finally get traded. We've been hearing about a Gibson trade for a couple of years now. Hasn't materialized because of the contract and the Ducks' unwillingness to retain more money and all that. So we'll see how things play out. But Reimer is a goalie who in recent years has actually been, you know, a decent, you know, cheap veteran to add to your depth. So if you look around the NHL and you look at some teams that might have, you know, an injury or somebody who's, you know, struggling, maybe looking for a backup upgrade or something like that nature, I wouldn't rule out the possibility of James Reimer getting picked up. I really think it's a possibility. We'll have to wait and see where things go here. We'll find out tomorrow. So we had a goalie claim today with Kahkonnen. Reimer could be next on tomorrow's list. So we'll see what happens here, and teams are starting to get to that point in the year where, you know, they're starting to kind of figure out who and what they are. Some teams are, you know, concerned about, falling out of the playoff race early. Some other teams are, worried about the future, and they're going to make some moves. Things are starting to kind of pick up a little bit here. It might not be anything significant, but you're going to start to see things kind of picking around the edges here as the days and weeks go by. So let me know your thoughts on today's waiver news down in the comments. We'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.